Townsend, Tennessee might be on the peaceful side of the Smoky Mountains, but is it too peaceful? Or can you find just the right mix of fun, entertainment, and tranquility to make it the perfect fit for your next vacation? Let's find out today. Welcome to Bear Facts, where we explore the Smoky Mountains one bear fact at a time. Most people who visit the Smoky Mountains think of Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, or Sevierville when planning their visit. And there's a good reason for that. With Gatlinburg, you get Ripley's, Anarchista, OUGHH, and Sky Park. Pigeon Forge is known for Dollywood, the island, and many fun dinner shows, and even a sinking ship for entertaining you. Sevierville has one of the largest gas stations in the country, an amazing outlet center, and a great water park that is Smoky Mountain. And each of these cities is also known for their family-friendly entertainment venues, food, and other shopping options. What more could you ask for? Well, some might argue that those attractions also come with a pretty big price. Not just money, because those places get expensive, but also they come with crowds and traffic, lots of crowds and traffic, and this isn't the kind of vacation some people are looking for. And that's one of the major reasons that many people choose to vacation in Townsend, Tennessee, more affectionately called the peaceful side of the Smokies. But is Townsend a good place for people like me who aren't that thrilled with sitting in front of a campfire and chilling all day? There's nothing wrong with that, but like many people seeking a great vacation location, I need to be entertained. Sorry to say, but I don't do camping, and if there are any bugs, you won't see me hanging outside with a fire watching them. So hearing about a town that's called peaceful doesn't equate to fun, at least in my books. But let me stop you there, because even though Townsend doesn't have a giant gorilla climbing up skyscrapers, hordes of bustling people, neon lights, or any roller coasters, they are still full of charm, beauty, and many things to do, even for people like me who can't seem to entertain ourselves. But what is Townsend, and why are they important to the Smoky Mountains? Let's take a short look at the history of this amazing little town and learn what they have to offer. Townsend was once a popular hunting ground for the Cherokee people who lived in the Smoky Mountains. The native people actually called the area the Tuckaleechee, which roughly translated to the Peaceful Valley. When the early European colonists arrived, they called it the Tuckaleechee Cove until Wilson B. Townsend and a group of Pennsylvania investors bought up 80,000 acres of land in the area. The company they formed was called the Little River Lumber Company, and they wanted the land for its vast acres of lumber. It was because of the lumber and the railways that they put into the area that many people started visiting the Smoky Mountains. The railways allowed easy access to the mountains and quickly became a prime vacation spot to escape the city, most notably Knoxville, though people did come in from other large cities. Many wealthy people began to lease land on Townsend's property, enjoying the peace and quiet of the mountains and for their fertile hunting grounds. If you are familiar with the Elkmont Ghost Town or Daisy Town, then you might know that this was part of the land that Townsend and the Little River Lumber Company owned as well. When Townsend had lumbered everything he could get from the mountains, he sold the land to the state of Tennessee and pulled out his railways. And the land had become a major part of the Smoky Mountain National Park, leaving Daisy Town to become a ghost town. But the actual town of Townsend remained as it was, not part of the Smoky Mountains, but rather a gateway to the famous national park. So you would think that since Townsend, the town, played such a vital part of the Smoky Mountain National Park history, it would have become as popular as Pigeon Forge or Gatlinburg. But this isn't the case. Townsend has remained almost as quiet and residential as it had since before the park opened. Even though they are one of the few gateways to the Smoky Mountain National Park, you would never guess it. Compared to Gatlinburg's entrance, Townsend's is a virtual ghost town. And the residents here are not complaining. Neither are the few tourists who venture this way. Peace and quiet is what they want, and they have no interest in it being any other way. So why didn't Townsend end up like Gatlinburg or Pigeon Forge? Well, there are many reasons for this, one being that the people just didn't want that to happen to their town. Much of the land in the area was owned by many of the original residents pushed out of Cades Cove, and lots of land was also owned by prominent members of the area. They held their lands, and some are still holding them on today. There are also other factors such as accessibility, taxes, and laws that have helped this area from being run over by the tourism that has forced out many locals in Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg, and now even Sevierville. But even though Townsend doesn't have the giant Ferris wheels and hopping moonshine scenes, they still have quite a lot to offer tourists. Let's start with water activities. Townsend was built around the Little River, and it makes sense it was an essential source of fresh, clean drinking water, bathing, and food sources. Today, though, the town isn't using it anymore for drinking and bathing. People still are enjoying the Little River for many fun activities. In early spring and late fall, the Little River draws in many eager fishermen hoping to catch one of the famous elusive trout that call his home. Since Townsend is at a lower elevation during these months, the water temperatures are at the perfect temperature for trout. Because of easy access and the abundance of native and stock trout, the Little River and the surrounding brooks are very popular for fishing in. And because they draw in so many fly fishermen, you won't be surprised to find one of the most popular local fishing stores around. Right off of 321 in Townsend, you'll find the Little River Fishing Outlet. This store has everything an avid fly fisherman could ever want. They even offer fly fishing classes and are always willing to give good free advice. Though don't try and ask anyone for the perfect fishing hole. Those are highly guarded secrets, and you will need to pay a real guide to find them. And though the local waters are stocked, the native fish are going to be much harder to find. When the water and air temperature begin to rise, the rats come out to play. The river rats, that is. Water tubing is an incredibly popular activity. With Townsend being in the south, you can anticipate hot summers. But because the Little River is an active water source that comes directly out of the mountains, the water temperature is much cooler than many southern waterways. The stretch in Townsend is also very shallow with crystal clear, clean water and enough current to make water tubing a highly popular activity. The River Rats is one of the largest water tubing businesses in the area. They offer tourist tube rentals, a place to store and change clothing, and most importantly, transportation. The company will shuttle guests to the upstream location where you can take your tube back along the Little River and where you can get back on at the Little River landing area and take the bus back up again. Though paying for the river rat facilities and transportation makes water tubing more convenient and comfortable for many tourists, it is completely free to enjoy that activity on your own. You can bring your own tube or rent at another facility and enjoy the Little River along with everyone else. Though Tennessee law does state that children under the age of 12 need personal life vests. Another hugely popular reason that many people visit Townsend is to gain access to Cades Cove. Cades Cove is inside the national park, and the entrance to the park is just a few miles out of Townsend. This is one of the easiest access points to Cades Cove as well. Many people enjoy camping, hiking, and horseback riding at Cades Cove, but the majority of guests are there to see the wildlife and drive the 11-mile loop road. The Cades Cove Loop Road allows guests to drive through the valleys that used to be inhabited by early colonists before they were bought out by the federal government to make way for the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. The park has gone to great lengths to restore and preserve many of these historic buildings that the early residents were displaced from. You can actually explore the inside and around all the buildings. Visitors can also walk around the grounds, check out the old cemeteries, and peek into the old primitive churches. There is even a gristmill that still stands today. But what truly makes Cades Cove so popular is that you have a very high chance of spotting wildlife, including the not-so-elusive bears that are heavily populated in this area. People come in droves to get a chance to see these popular residents of Cades Cove. Another reason that people love Cades Cove is that access is completely free, but a parking permit is required for guests who plan on parking their vehicle for more than 15 minutes at a time. Day and week passes are available at kiosks at Cades Cove any time of the day, and they do take credit cards. They also advertise online that you can get your annual passes at Cades Cove Market if you need one. Townsend is also close to another popular Smoky Mountain attraction, the Foothills Parkway. This part of the foothills is a 33-mile stretch of highway that spans from US 129 to 321 in Wears Valley. The foothills are a little hard to get to since they aren't on any highways or any easy access points, but Townsend is close to the midway point of the foothills, and from Townsend you can either take a left up to Route 129, where you can also find the Tail of the Dragon, an extremely windy road popular for its, curves, all 318 of them to be exact, or you can head back the other way and end up back in Wears Valley on 321. Many people like to take the foothills to enjoy the many scenic stops and majestic overlooks of the Smoky Mountains. Another very popular thing that people enjoy to do in Townsend is the Tuckaleechee Caverns. These 20 to 30 million year caverns were discovered in the 1930s and were privately owned up until the 1980s, when they were sold to the Caverns of the Vanadanas. I think I said that right. Now guests can take a guided tour to explore their hidden depths. The biggest feature of the caverns is the Big Room, which is a cavern room that is 150 feet deep, beating even Mammoth's cave room in Kentucky by 30 feet. This tour takes about an hour and a half and does involve stairs. Since the caverns are always 58 degrees, they're the perfect place to visit year-round. Just make sure you call the caverns to make sure they're open before visiting. Caverns tend to close in the winter and during the rainy seasons due to flooding. Now that we have talked about the major attractions in and around Townsend, let's take a closer look at the town itself. Townsend has two visitor centers. The first is operated by the Smoky Mountain National Park Services. Here you can get park passes and talk with knowledgeable park employees about the park and what it offers. The other visitor center is owned by Blount County, which Townsend is part of. At this visitor center, you can talk with knowledgeable people who are passionate about Townsend and its history. If you have any real interest in the town itself, I would make the time to stop and talk with the people here. Both centers have bathrooms and are a good place to stop and take a break if you're on the trail and need to get out of the heat or cold. You can also get a map of the Townsend Historic Trails. The Townsend Historic Trail is 4.5 miles of paved walkways that you can bicycle or walk. This trail is great since you not only get to safely explore the town, but also get a little bit of history as well. These trails are very popular for bikers since you can ride them with little fear of traffic and vehicles. Along the trail, you'll also find a few historically significant things. One of these things is the Sunshine Covered Bridge. This bridge is nearly 100 years old and stretches over part of the Little River. It's about 190 feet long, and many guests like to fish from it or just stop and enjoy the view as they pass through the historic trail on their way to their next stop. If you pick up a map in the Townsend Visitor Center, you'll see many other stops that might be interesting. One thing is the Little River Railroad and Lumber Museum. This museum is free to the public and is a fun place to learn about the company that, quite literally put Townsend on the map. You and your family can climb up and see the inside of an antique steam engine train or walk around the museum. In the back are a few older museums that have survived the test of time due to their sturdy design and craftsmanship. The trail will also take you through different food and dining options. If you're in need of a good cup of coffee, the Artistic Bean is a locally owned coffee shop that sells a few food items as well. They have a wide variety of different coffees, and you can get your Java fix as well. The Abbey is along the historic trail. This is a refurbished wedding chapel that is now a popular eating location for locals and visitors alike. The owners of the Abbey took a lot of time and care to preserve the original church while giving diners a chance to enjoy a late lunch or early dinner. There is an amazing patio that overlooks the river in the back, or you can hang out at the bar inside. And don't be surprised to see guests hopping off their tubes and getting a quick bite to eat or drink. I guess you can get thirsty water tubing down the little river. There's also the Trailhead Steak and Trout, a well-established restaurant that serves up trout and, you guessed it, steak, but don't miss out on their burgers either. And even though Townsend is taking aggressive moves to preserve the peace and quiet of their town, they're also encouraging new businesses that follow the more low-key vibe of the area to start up. One of these businesses is the Peaceful Side Social. The Social is hard to describe as it's a very popular local brewery bar as well as a Mexican-inspired restaurant. The name implies an adult hangout, but you can also find a play area outside for families and young children and an ice cream parlor attached, so it has something for everyone. Attached to the Social is a great little grocery store that is disguised as a gas station. I was shocked at how big the inside of the gas station was. It's really a full-size grocery that has almost everything or anything you might need when camping or traveling through the area. It also includes a small deli with hot foods, fresh foods to take on a picnic if you want to take it with you and go. Cades Cove Jeep Outfitters is also in Townsend. This shop is for those who love Jeeps and want to find fun and unique Jeep paraphernalia. You can get t-shirts, sweatshirts, magnets, and even Jeep Trail coins for your vehicle. And of course, you can get ducks. Lots of ducks. Though you might want to avoid this place during Jeep Week in August, it can get crazy busy with all the Jeepers coming into town. This last bit of Townsend I'm going to talk about today is something that many people might not know about or just missed it because it's kind of hidden in plain sight. I'm talking about the Dark Island Swinging Bridge. Even though it's right off of 321, the bridge can be a little tricky to get to because of the location, which is on the border of Townsend. The bridge represents a divide between the city of Townsend and Blount County. In 2019, it was shut down for repairs and is now reopened for the public to use again. The bridge is hard to get to since it's on a very busy part of 321 past the two amazing hand-painted murals that advertise your entry into the town of Townsend. You can try and park your car at the Century 21 across the street when they're closed, or you can access the bridge from the back road, Old Walland Highway. Parking is very limited from either side, and if you choose to risk parking across the street, be advised that traffic can be heavy at times and cars are going pretty fast through the stretch. Of course, there's far more to see in Townsend than just the few things that I've pointed out in this video. Many other shops, amazing restaurants, and things to do are here. But I will leave you with this one last point. Even though Townsend is a small town, they have a lot to do and can be a wonderful place to take a break from the craziness of Pigeon Forge or Gatlinburg. The routes can be slow or windy, so leave time to get there so you can enjoy the trip and your stay. I hope this video helps you plan your visit to the Smoky Mountains. Please note that we at Bearfax do not get paid for our videos. You're getting an honest review from our personal experiences, but facts and things change, so please keep us in the know if you learn anything new and want to share your experiences in the comments. Thanks again for visiting us at Bearfax of the Smoky Mountains. Please click that like button and subscribe.